Hey kids, the program you're about to listen to contains some adult situations, adult language, themes, and other adult topics. If you're easily offended, this show's not for you.
Be sure to like and follow Crazy Truth on Swing Towns. Swing Towns has been around for 20 years, so they're an established, well-known site with lots of users. So you'll be able to easily find people you're interested in. And unlike other big sites, on Swing Towns, you don't have to worry about being bombarded with messages from people you're not interested in, because only people you're interested in can message you. And the best part is, you can message those people for free on Swing Towns. Hey, you crazy motherfuckers. Welcome to another edition of The Crazy Truth. I am your host with the most, Cole, and I'm here with the lovely Miss Amanda.
Hey.
And we are back. Hey, tonight we've got a real special show episode for you. We're doing a little bit different. You know, we normally answer all your questions about sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever you want to talk about. But tonight, we're doing something a little bit different. Tonight, instead of answering a question or answering questions, we have decided we're going to do a show on something that is very much a major talking point and a major issue of concern in the lifestyle, both with new couples and with experienced couples. Doesn't really matter. And that is the ever dreaded performance anxiety. So we're going to do things a little bit different. Number one, obviously, because our thing is we want to show all angles, and performance anxiety in our world, it's not something that just affects males. And we're going to talk about how it affects both males, how it affects females, how you recognize the sign, things to do, and hopefully give you some things to help ease that concern and worry, or ways to deal with it if it happens to you. Sound like fun? Mm-hmm. So tonight's episode, we're going to talk about penises that don't work. Okay, so to start off with, let's throw it right out there in the very beginning. And no matter if you're in your 20s, your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, if you're still swinging your 80s, rock on. It doesn't really matter how old you are. The reality is that performance anxiety can happen to anybody at any point in time. I can honestly say that I had never had an issue until we got into the lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And we see this and we hear this all the time about people talking about what to do, this has never happened to me before. Is this normal? Is this, why does this happen? And all the way across the board. So because this is something we've dealt with ourselves, and after being in it 8 years, it was only going to be a matter of time before we dealt with it. But we dealt with this pretty early on when we were in the lifestyle.
Right.
I mean, very, very much early on. So I think it's first I want to give you what happened to me, because obviously, again, it happens to everybody, okay? So, and I'm going to skip out on the very first time that we hooked up. I mean, obviously, performance anxiety, the very first time you hook up in the lifestyle, here's the reality of it is, you can never mentally get yourself ready for what that first experience is going to be like. So a lot of guys go through that nervousness the very first time. I want to focus on more performance anxiety after you've been in the lifestyle, because your expectation is it's always worked before. Why all of a sudden is this not working? And what tends to happen is once it happens once, then it happens again and again, and it starts to snowball. And that effect, and it starts to become such a thing that I truly believe there's a lot of couples, a lot of males and a lot of females that have gotten out of the lifestyle because of performance anxiety. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I'm going to tell you about what, with me, the very first time, other than the first time we were actually hooked up, but the very first time that it happened after we'd been in the lifestyle, probably, I bet we'd been in the lifestyle year and a half, 2 years, right around there is when it probably, when it happened to us. And it happened, and it is happened to us, because it absolutely does affect both of you as a couple. We ended up meeting up with a couple. It was kind of the spur of the moment type thing that had happened. And we'd been out at a bar, and they invited us back to the hotel room, and everybody was excited. Everybody got along great at the bar. We'd had a blast at the bar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody had some cocktails, but nobody was super drunk or anything along those lines. Nothing like that. Nothing. I mean, it was 4 adults that had a really good time going back to a hotel room. When we got back to the hotel room, and the backstory of this is we had met this couple a couple of times at other events, and the gal was a very, very attractive woman. Very attractive woman. And very personable, very outgoing, a lot like my personality. And I had said from the very first time we met them, and I quote, given the opportunity, no matter what, I want to hook up with them. If we can ever hook up with them, I want to hook up with them. Mm-hmm. And it surprised us when they invited us back to their hotel room. And I was like JoJo the Circus Monkey. I'm all excited. This is finally going to happen. You were excited because you thought the guy was hot. You were into the guy as well. And you were into the girl, obviously. So this was going to be a win-win all the way around. We get to the hotel room, and it was nice because, you don't have to have a lot of small talk. We've been having small talk at the bar. So it was pretty much, we're ready to, let's get ready to rumble. We're ready to go. Mm-hmm. And the activity starts happening. And I can remember it very vividly. You and her start to play, and so we're all kind of getting undressed. And the reality of it is, it was hot. I should have been able to hammer nails. I should have been so hard. And it would not work. It was as flaccid as my penis has ever been. And so as we start to get in with, of course, as it's getting closer to the time for the guys to start getting involved, I am starting to sweat profusely because I'm like, oh shit, my dick's not working. What the hell is going on? And typical guy, what do you do as a guy when your dick doesn't start to work? Then you start grabbing it and you're trying to, you're trying to pull it like it's silly putty. You're just trying to get anything to get it to go. You're trying to get it to go and you don't want everybody to notice. And yet it's pretty obvious when she turns around to suck your dick and you're sitting there holding the flaccid penis in your hand and she starts sucking your dick and it's still not getting hard. And the panic sets in. And I am sweating and I am damn near hyperventilating. And everybody, it obviously changes the mood with the 4 of us instantly. Everybody feels bad, and everybody, because they were experienced lifestylers as well. And he's like, dude, don't worry about it. It happens. And he even said to you, hey, sometimes this will kind of go soft and hard, so it was kind of happening to him also at the same time. I finally got a half-ass erection at best. And we were trying and playing for quite a while, and it never really got up. The closest that it got, the way that it even got a half-ass erection was you obviously saw that I was having trouble. Everybody saw I was having trouble, and he started to have trouble. And
not everybody saw, but sure.
Well, you feel like everybody and maybe the people in the parking lot even know you're having trouble. And so you jumped in and did it. Let's switch, and she was all for that because she wanted to help him. And so it started to get hard a little bit, and he started to get hard a little bit. So we switched again, and it just did not last at all. The night ended in terms of everybody left on just, it was fine. There was no hard feelings or anything like that. Everybody still had a good time, but it was just, wow. And I walked out of there feeling about 2 inches tall. I just wanted to die. Mm-hmm. And it was horrible because I was embarrassed. I felt like I had ruined the night. And I'm like, these people are going to hate me. They're going to tell everybody. I can't believe this. I was frustrated. I was angry. And I remember on the ride home, you were like, no, that's not the case. He was having trouble too. And we were trying to talk through it. Mm-hmm. And even when we got home, because we always have reconnection sex when we get home. Mm-hmm. Even when we got home, I was still having trouble getting it up a little bit when we got home. Mm-hmm. And you were like, just relax, we're home. We're home, it's okay. And that's when I was finally able to get it up and get it to work and actually to have sex. For probably the next week, that was pretty much the topic of conversation. I mean, literally, I was contemplating whether or not I even wanted to keep doing this. I mean, I was humiliated. I'm like, I hope we never run into them again. How are we going to handle if we ever go to their city where they're at? And they sent us a text the next day saying, hey, it was great. We're going to have to do this again. It was a lot of fun. And I mean, that almost caused me to go back into what I later determined was a panic attack. Because it was just like, oh my God, how can I ever face these people again? They're going to think of me every time I walk in and go, hey, there's little limp neck Cole. You know, I mean, that's what people are going to think. You're just sure everybody's going to know. And it was, without a doubt, a horrible, horrible experience all the way across the board. The after effects of it were absolutely a nightmare. So, and that was somebody, again, that we'd been swinging for a year and a half, 2 years. And someone we felt completely comfortable with. You want to hope that it's a one-time incident. Even though you want it to be a one-time incident, you're terrified that it's not going to be that. You're terrified that the next time you're with somebody, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. You did everything in your power. I mean, when we had a lot of conversations about it, and you did everything in your power to get me to just, I guess, let it go. Really? Okay. So let me ask you this. When I was going through that, because obviously I was so absorbed in my own panic at that moment in time. And and this is a question I've never asked you. What were you seeing as the spouse watching the Titanic unfold before your eyes?
You could sense the panic. You could, at least I could. And I could see, because I know your mannerisms to know when you're going to panic. And my thought is to get your head out of it, because once it gets in your head, that isn't going to make it any better. That one of the most horrific things in the world is once you think about it, whether you think this can't happen or oh my God, this is happening, then it's there. And it is firmly implanted in your brain. It's the only thing on you that is firm at that moment in time is your absolute terror and fear all the way through. So the next couple of times that we had hookups, I had issues every single time. Mm-hmm. Every single time after that, I started to have issues because before we would even walk through the door, before we would even get to that part of it, I would start panicking about it, because you would even say to me, you are starting to get yourself all worked up. You could see the panic in me before I ever even got through the door. Mm-hmm. So we got an opportunity to hook up with that couple again. And exact same thing happened. Only this time it was even worse. But I had learned one of the things, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in detail, but I had learned to excuse myself, to get up and leave the room and say, hey, I got to go out and have a cigarette and leave the room so that I could get away, get fresh air, calm yourself down, try to get a grip. The funny thing with that was when we were in a different city, we'd met in a different city, neither one of us lived in at a hotel. And when I went outside, I took my phone with me because I went outside. I'm like, okay, had a cigarette, quick, I'll turn on some porn that always gets me, really excited. And I went to turn the porn on, and there was no Wi-Fi connection. I've never almost thrown a phone across a parking garage in my entire life. It's like, no, this can't be happening. Thought I got myself calmed down, went back in, still half-assed at best. You got some.
I got some. It was finally right towards the very end, and it didn't last. Like, I'm notoriously one that lasts a pretty long time, and it lasted like less than a minute. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it was like, fuck my life. You've got to be kidding me. We ended up getting a third opportunity with them, and that was probably the best. But even still, again, I was going maybe 2 or 3 minutes max, and at that point in time, you just saw they're still a very nice couple. We're still friends with them. At that point in time, I don't blame her anymore. In this point in time, she had given me 3 tries, 3 strikes, you're out. because it was frustrating for her as well. And we'll touch on that, how she probably felt with that a little bit later. So in between those times of hooking up with them, the opportunity came to hook up with another couple that we really, really wanted to hook up with. And it was another gal that was that I found extremely attractive, and which is probably the worst order we could have done things in hindsight. Extremely attractive. And again, same thing. I was literally, I flat out said to her, I said to that woman, "You're out of my league." I said, "You're out of my league." That becomes a key part of this, as we discovered. Same thing, and multiple times in a row with them. Same thing. I could never get it to work. It ended up being there was about 3 women that I felt like were super attractive, super friendly, but I felt like they were out of my league. And when it came to them, there was no way in the world I couldn't get it to work. And how bad my performance anxiety became is that we were looking for we started researching everything. We started researching pills. We started researching therapies. The problem was Viagra. I have every one of the side effects with Viagra. I would take Viagra. I could get up. I could have sex. And as soon as I was done having sex, I would literally be on all fours, violently throwing up, violently vomiting, couldn't breathe. We tried Cialis. Cialis didn't work near as fast. By the time the whole thing would be over, and then 4 hours later, I'd finally have a hard-on. It wouldn't work. We tried the powerful Cialis with the, take one for the whole weekend. That would have me violently ill. That we had nothing, and it looked pretty fucking bleak. It looked really fucking bleak. So we actually ended up to the point where, literally, I went and did acupuncture for 18 months. I did acupuncture. That's how bad my performance anxiety had become. And that's how much it had dominated. When you walk into an acupuncturist and she goes, what reasons are you here? I'm here because I'm a swinger and I can't get my dick hard. The look on her face was pretty priceless, not going to lie. She had to do some consulting on some of her books to find out exactly what chakras and whatever we needed to work on with that. But that was my story. So we wanted to give you a little based on what, that it's happened to me. Now, I want to go to you because, Miss Amanda, you've seen it from the other way. So you've seen how I react when I'm going to have one of those issues. Mm-hmm. Okay. How have some of the guys, when you've been with some of the guys, how have they reacted when they're starting to go into performance anxiety or when they're starting to have issues?
The same way. They all start to panic. When they start to panic, then they just start freaking out even more, and the more panic and more panic and more panic. And it's just like, just let it go. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. There's only one guy I had that he couldn't get it up, and it's like, meh. And I'm like, wait, okay, you don't even feel sorry? Or, hey, I apologize, I can't? Nothing. I'm like, you just watch your wife get pounded? And I get nothing? Okay.
But it was pretty universal, that same, like, the breathing,
well,
the sweating.
They start really yanking it and panicking, and you can see by their, and panicking. It's bad.
It's like every guy's go-to maneuver. Their go-to maneuver is to take and start pulling their dick even harder. Like, if we jack it off faster and harder, then eventually it will work. And it's a dead giveaway. You see it all the time.
Yeah.
You see it all the time. The thing with this is really, and I'm very fortunate. Okay, we're fortunate because our relationship is one that we're very much in tune with each other. Mm-hmm. This is one of the advantages of playing in the same room. Mm-hmm. It really is.
And as a legitimate couple.
Okay, and I never used to be on that same note. I never used to understand why some couples didn't want to play in the same room. I can see that if you were bothered by watching your spouse have sex, that then in turn that could cause performance anxiety as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but we're very in tune with each other. So I was very fortunate that when things started to go south, especially after the first time,
after the first time that you were very much aware of and watching for the signs that I was starting to have an issue. The problem with that is, did that take away at times, and be honest, did that take away at times from your enjoyment of what was going on in the situation? Because instead of getting to watch and be caught up in the person that you were supposed to be having sex with, or in the moment, so instead of getting to enjoy that person's company, you were having to like keep an eye on me. So you weren't giving that person full attention. So did it affect what kind of enjoyment you were getting out of a sexual encounter?
Yeah, it takes away from the enjoyment of it, but I don't know if they even notice.
Okay.
Because, I just kind of just glance over and it's like, okay, how long do I let this go before I stop him and say, let's switch?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, I've seen him panic enough. Let's switch.
Right. Which I want to point out, that's something, it's really funny because in our relationship, people that know us know that I generally tend to be the one that's more outspoken, more, what? Who the hell? More outspoken, more aggressive, not aggressive, but more will step up, assertive, and say whatever needs to be done. And generally you're not. But you, like I was always, initially when we were doing this, I was afraid to excuse myself for a while. I was like, I feel bad saying I need to leave and go have a cigarette. And you're like, no, just do that. But you never had a problem jumping right in there and saying, hey, let's switch. You always were able to do that. You had no fear, you had no hesitation to do that.
Because I know how to get your head straight and to get your mind off of the panic to focus on me.
Okay.
It's like, get out of the situation, think about me.
I was gonna say, okay, I this is kind of a role play, not to put you on the spot, but kind of a role play. I tell them, do it like what you would say to me, because I honestly don't think that a lot of spouses, it's not that they like watching their partner go through this, but you didn't just grab me and go, Jesus fucking Christ, Cole, just fucking concentrate on fucking her.
No.
Stick your dick in her and move on. That's not what you, because if you yell at me, then I'm going to just start
Just make
sucking
it
my
worse.
thumb and in the fetal position, and I'm never going to leave. Okay, so I mean, kind of, if you would, because I'm telling you what, guys, here's the deal. When you can take somebody like me that has been in a full-blown hyperventilating panic attack to being able to have an awesome several-hour sexual experience, that takes a lot of skill to be able to get in my brain and do that. And Miss Amanda's been able to do that.
All I do is you're on your back because they're trying to get you up. And I say
Rise.
switch, and we switch, and I get in your face and I say, look at me. Look at me. It's just me.
Yeah,
Look at me.
kind of starting to get harder now.
Now, focus just on me. Forget about what's going on around you. There's nothing happening. It's just me.
Yeah. You've actually taken and put your hands literally and cupped
So you
and
can't
cupped my
see.
eyes. And when I start to, because my natural, no, it's fine. And you go, no. Because you get firm. You get firm. You get my attention.
But I don't say it loud. I say
No.
it very quiet. I don't make it I don't make a scene of it.
No.
No.
But you're also, because you're usually on top of me. But you're also doing, you'll be moving slow and basically touching me the way that you know the things from our own relationship that really works. That's where as a couple, wow, it is so awesome to have somebody to be able to do that for you at that moment. Because literally, ladies or guys, if you've been lucky enough that it hasn't ever happened to you, you want to die as a guy at that moment in time. So to have somebody actually step in and be able to help bring you back and get you calm down and get you relaxed. And the other thing you've always done is you weren't quick to jump back. You weren't like, okay, focus, and now I'm going to go back to fucking him. I mean, you weren't like that.
There was one time with one couple that we're really good friends with that they were both watching.
Yes.
And, she was trying,
Yeah, she was.
She did a wonderful job. But they were both watching when I was trying to get you focused. And then when I did, then I started giving you a blowjob, and then I signaled her over.
That's right, you did. Yeah, because as soon as it was, I had my eyes closed. Because as soon as it was hard, all of a sudden she was on me, and then we were fine, and then we were fine, and it was awesome. Probably it's not one of the worst things that you do as a guy afterwards, or you should do, is I apologized. Anytime it happened, I always apologize. And here's the thing, people are understanding. I want to put a side note in here with that part of it real quick, okay? We have heard the stories. We have friends that went through it. There are guys out there that when their shit won't work, will get mad at the female partner they're with. And I'm just going to say it blatantly. There's only one way to say it. That's fucking bullshit. Okay? These guys, if you're a guy and you're having trouble getting it up and you're having performance anxiety and you try to blame the woman you're with. Now, look, obviously, if she's just bit your dick and drawn blood, that's one thing, okay? I get it, but that's a totally different issue. But if just because you can't get it up, you turn on her and make it her fault, you have no business being in the fucking lifestyle, okay? Then you're not getting up because you're not old enough and mature enough to handle it. And people like that shouldn't be in the lifestyle at all, in the least. For me personally, it was always important to apologize to people afterwards. And you know what? You find I've yet to have anybody say anything. It's okay. It happens to everybody. I've yet to have a guy go, "Ha, your dick doesn't work." You know, they go, "Oh man, you know that happens to me," and it does. It happens to everybody.
There's so many different factors that go into it.
There is. And okay, so let's talk about some of the factors. We've given my story, okay? And this is not about us, but it's some of the other things that we have found that will affect or cause performance anxiety. Okay, so pretty much a pretty obvious one, booze. Booze is a big one. Look, we all know that you're going to have cocktails at a swinger event, most likely. Too much booze, it is what it is. People get whiskey dick. That's why there's a name whiskey dick out there, because too much booze causes stuff just not to work right. Plus, it's not as hot if somebody's slobbering ass drunk, and it can be either the guy is too drunk or the girl is too drunk. Because like for me personally, if a female is too drunk, then I'm not interested. I don't want to do that if they're too drunk. So booze is one. What's another one?
Stress.
Absolutely. Stress is a big one. You can be, whether it be stress at your job, stress at home, stress about
the situation.
Yeah.
There's actually a medical reason for it.
For the stress, or for the
stress, because it narrows the blood vessels and makes it blood flow less.
Absolutely. So I mean, to have it happen especially in a group setting, if you've never had group sex before, every guy still has that thing about, everybody's measuring dicks. No, everybody's not. But you have that stress, and you don't want to be that guy. And so you're worried about it, and you're stressed out about it. Absolutely. Sleep. Sleep deprivation is another one.
You've experienced that one.
Dealt with that.
I've had 2 hours of sleep and I worked 12 hours today. I'm just fine.
Yeah, so that was after a whole weekend of partying hard. I mean, we were partied. We had a lot of fun that weekend.
Yeah,
Let's just say night one, I had no performance anxiety. No. I had no issue. Night two, I was fucking exhausted because that was 48 hours on 2 hours of sleep. The first 24 were really worth it. Okay, so that's some of the things. Obviously, some of the other things we've talked about, but yeah, body image. Guys, you're afraid your penis isn't going to be, it's not going to measure up, it's not going to be big enough. Just body image overall. It's all things that just cause you to kind of get all JoJo the Circus Monkey. I think the other one that's out there is you get so damn excited to have sex with this person, somebody you've been wanting to fuck since day one. So you have all day or all week or whatever, and you're just like, man, I'm going to get there, and I'm going to do this, and then we're going to stand on our heads, and then I'm going to flip her upside down. It's going to be woo! And you get all fucking worked up, and then you get there, and you're just like, and nothing. Okay, and that's happened. So, okay, so we've talked about the guy side of it, and we talked about some of the things that can cause it and whatever. And obviously, I'm sure a lot of you guys have other things that you can go, well, this caused it, whatever. We discovered with mine, one of the things was the mental block of certain girls. I didn't feel like I felt like they were out of my league, which is really funny because those of you that know Miss Maynard or watch our videos on YouTube know that I'm married out of my league and we have sex all the time. So
Okay.
I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some tonight. Okay, so, but we want to talk about the other side of it too, because it's all this when performance anxiety is talked about. It's always talked about from the guys, the poor guys, and what the guys go through and whatever. But the reality of it is, this is not something that just affects the guys.
No.
It has negative effects on the female. In fact, personally, now having lived and experienced in the things we've went through with it and just the years in the lifestyle, I actually believe that there's more negative effects for the females than there are for guys. And I'm going to let Miss Amanda run with most of this, but let me clarify. Yes, okay, a female doesn't have the set performance anxiety issues that we do as a guy. Miss Amanda says it all the time. We just got to lay there, and there's lube if we can't get wet. Okay. But the psychological aspects of it are tremendous. Mm-hmm. And so you run with that a little. I want you to tell that because it needs to come from your perspective and kind of go from there. I'll jump in as need be. And then I fuck this up.
No, I can't fuck that up. You know, it happens to you once. You're like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. Being with somebody that gets it is definitely like, you know what? It happens. We will separate, regroup later.
Okay, so what you said when you said it happens to you once, meaning you're with a guy that they can't get it up.
Right.
That they have issues with it. Okay.
Right.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
From that aspect, you have it happen 4, 5, 7 times in a row with different guys. That's crushing and hurtful. I've cried on the way home going, what's wrong with me? Am I not attractive? You know, is my body too big? You know, did they really not like me and they just went along with it because,
Right.
you know, they really didn't want to begin with, so why'd they pretend?
Yeah, yep. Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, but it happens, and I get it. I guess it was just the luck of the draw.
It was, but, and those ride homes are horrible. Those ride homes are horrible for you because you're crushed. You're sitting there going, you're trying everything that you know to do to try to help the guy get it up and to get it to function. And the look of, I understood what look of panic I must have on my face when I'm having that attack from the look I saw on your face after a guy can't get it up. It's just, your eyes go, you're just like, you can see you're just saying, what do I do? What do I do? And the problem is no matter what I said on the way home, it didn't matter.
Won't matter.
It didn't matter. It did not, just like everything you said to me, getting there, you'll be fine, quit worrying about it. On the way home, as I'm trying to console you, going, you're beautiful. No, that's not it. That's not the case. And I remember watching it gradually ramp up because the first one I was like, okay, probably the first 3. By the third one, you were more like agitated.
That was just a really bad year.
Yeah, we went through a streak. But by the third one, you were more agitated. You were agitated. You were agitated because the other couple was not in tune, for one.
There's been several, right?
There's been several where the reality is the spouse that I was with didn't give 2 shits what was going on, whether or not her husband was having issues or not. That in and of itself. So by the third one, you were agitated. By the fourth one, yeah, every insecurity, every fear, very unfounded fear, came out.
I was also irritated, and it was a communication thing of, you saw it.
Yes.
How come you didn't switch?
Yes. And that was something we had to talk about because, to be honest with you, that third time, absolutely, especially the third time was when we really had that conversation. because I dropped the ball. I didn't really know how to say switch. I didn't know let's switch. I didn't really know what to do. And so I kind of became the deer in the headlights. And as your partner, I absolutely left you hanging. I let you down. And I didn't make that mistake again, though. We didn't make that mistake again.
That's what I'm talking about.
But we had to have that communication. We had to have that because I remember you going, "Why the fuck didn't you say let's switch?" And I'm like, I didn't really know how. And you
It's
go, "Just
rude
say
if
it."
I say it. If I say it, it's like, okay, he's not doing anything, so come over here.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for me to say switch, but it would make sense for you to say it.
Yeah, and that's what because that's when we talked about it. I said, well, why don't you just say it? And you pointed out, okay, he's not getting it up, so I want to go back to somebody that's going to get their cock hard. So, I mean, that was just kind of one of those things that you had to take and you had to go through and really, you had to point it out to me. Okay? Once we got on that same page, which was awesome, because number one, it was frustrating that his spouse didn't see, but they still did not make it all right for your spouse not to see.
Right.
When we did switches then down the road, it wasn't the same. They did not, the other spouses did not respond the same way that you did.
They didn't. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, they were just like, we had one that flat said, will you hurry up and get it up for her? I mean, and you know what? Yelling at the guy's penis wasn't going to work.
No.
Probably the worst one in that, though, was the one where, guys, I'm going to tell you this, and Miss Amanda can vouch for this. Coming up with excuses is hurtful. It's fucking hurtful when you fumble around with an excuse to a chick why you couldn't get it up. Oh, well, I took some medication. Oh, I did this. Oh, I did that. That's hurtful because you felt like on the way home, he was lying to you. And that almost stopped us that almost kiboshed our swinging adventure. Because there was
like 6 or 7 in a row.
Yeah, it really was. And even when so you were part of a page at that time that was just females in lifestyle. Okay. And I remember you put stuff out there to get other females'
Oh, I
perspective.
did, didn't I?
I just remember that I was amazed, and I think you were too a little bit, how every woman, there wasn't a single woman that didn't say it. They felt the same way that when a guy couldn't get up, that they took, even if the guy wasn't a dick about it or anything else, but that they felt personally inadequate.
Because as a female, how you know somebody's attracted to you is they get it up.
The divining rod gets hard.
So if they think you're hot and they want to have sex with you and they can't get it up, do they really find you hot?
Yeah. But what's funny with that, even living with a guy that deals with it, it didn't matter when that reverse logic applied. To go, well, you knew that I thought this person, we'll just call him Jay, was hot, but I couldn't get it up. But performance anxiety does not have to be rational.
No.
And that's the thing, it's not rational. And how people feel, even though it's not a rational thought process, it doesn't take away from the seriousness of it. And guys, I truly believe that you have a responsibility to think about what you say when you're having issues or what you want a chick to do to try to help you if you're having issues. I mean, well, just suck it some more. Come on, you'll get it there. That's hurtful. It's look, your job is not, you're not professional fluffer.
After 2 hours, I'm done.
then your jaw hurts
My
after
jaw
chewing a
hurts and
sandwich
I'm
after
tired.
that.
It isn't happening.
Well, at some point, even at that point in time, if it got up, it's not going to be fun anymore. I mean, it's not going to be enjoyable.
I can tell you one thing that is like absolutely disgusting to me is the guy that couldn't get it up and he was starting to freak out and he kept spitting in his hand to whack it off, and it's like, please quit spitting. That's really gross.
That does not make me want
remember
to say.
that?
Oh, yeah, I remember that all the way through because I remember as you were going, he's fucking spitting all over himself, and I go, they do it in the porns. This is not a fucking porn.
That was gross. Now, one thing that I run into a couple of times with guys being able to get it up, they're hard until someone says you need to wear a condom. And then as
Yes.
soon as they try to fumble with the condom, it goes limp.
Okay, see,
I found a solution to that.
Yes, you found a solution. Go ahead. 'Cause
To him, I would always go, just say, here, you put it on.
Yes.
I've done it to guys where they're like, I hate condoms. It'll go soft. Give it here. I'll keep it hard.
Yeah.
And I unroll it, and if I tease it with my mouth, I tease it with my mouth.
Yeah.
So with a condom, just give it here, because I can keep you hard and get it on and tease you with my mouth.
Yes.
That's my magic little trick.
And I've never seen it not work on a guy
No,
at all.
no, that's the magic little touch.
Yeah, because that's my issue is opening the condom. I instantly become all thumbs.
Yeah, you can't open a wrapper to save your life. It's just hair.
And we've even practiced it. Mm-hmm. How many condoms did we go through?
A lot.
Practicing and getting it on. And no, I don't know why I can't get it on. But you have no problem telling a girl to do that for me either.
Yeah, put it on for him.
Yeah, because you won't even wait. You'll do that right off the.
I did it to one guy, and he goes, "Okay, I could get used to this. You need to do this," to his wife. I'm like, sorry.
Well, but it does it because you instantly feel all nervous and you start sweating again. Otherwise, and you've again been really good about saying right to the. I've heard you say it right when we walk in before it even starts. We're gonna wear condoms. You're gonna have to put it on for him,
Mm-hmm.
and then they know. And I've never had a girl say no, and I've never had a guy tell you no, get your mouth away from that. Let me do that. I mean, so that's an awesome, a damn awesome way to get it up. What other advice would you tell other females to help? Well, actually, no. Let's do it this way. What advice would you tell other guys to deal with when they're having an issue? Because it's better to hear for the guys here what your perspective is. Vice versa. That makes sense?
Not really. No, that really didn't make sense. Like what? What do you mean?
Well, like, okay, because from a woman, it's easy for me as a guy to say, just relax, right. What, if you're playing one-on-one with a guy and he starts to have issues, what are you going to say to him?
Well, you say relax. Let's stop a minute. There's times that with another couple, and we were very early into the lifestyle, and he was having issues because he didn't realize that I didn't make a lot of sound.
Right.
And so we sat there and we watched y'all play. I said, it's no big deal. Let's just watch them for a while. And
Right.
then we were talking. He got his head straight. And then it got to teasing. And then round 2 for you was really good sex.
Right. And that was then you started teasing. You guys were watching. I remember kind of looking over because I was in tune. And I remember looking over and you're just you guys are just laying there and pretty soon you're doing your little butt wiggle and just kind of stroking and just kind of talking. Mm-hmm. And got him relaxed. Mm-hmm. That is great advice, guys. Don't be afraid to take just a minute at all.
Yeah, because there's nothing more frustrating than, just keep going, keep sucking my dick. It's okay. And then you're like, how long do I have to keep going?
Right. It's better to take and stop and talk. I guess that's what I would say to women is if a guy says, "Hey, I got to take a minute." Like for me, I like to sometimes leave the room, go have a cigarette to whatever to calm myself. Don't take offense by that.
No.
Don't take offense, and please don't just sit there and wait for me to come back.
That's true.
It's kind of, I mean, if you're not into girls, I get it, but I mean, just kind of join in. The other couple needs to kind of
Initially,
keep going.
though, when you said, y'all play, and we're all sitting there going, Okay, what do we do? Well, I kind of feel bad playing with him not here. Okay. So it was odd. It really was. It was awkward, and you're just like, well, let's keep going. I mean, that'd be kind of rude.
Well, but now you know. But we were so new then. Now you can. It's nice when your spouse can kind of explain it for you. Mm-hmm. When
I do now.
Yeah,
when you walk out, I said, just give him a minute. He just needs to regroup, clear his head, and then it'll be all good.
Right, and then go ahead and play, because it is awkward when you walk back in the room and it's like
Everybody's staring
and
at
everybody's just staring at you like, okay, so your dick ready to go? Let's go. So just kind of play and go ahead and get into it. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that we have to talk about, though, we got to put in with this. We stress it on every topic we talk about, every single one, is communication. All the way across the board, communication, and it's not necessarily with the other people that are there that you're having issues with. You have to talk to each other about it. You have to talk to each other. It can be awkward as a guy. I think more for a guy than a girl to say to your wife, your significant other, "She is so hot. I'm so attracted to her." But you have to be able to say that. Mm-hmm. And as the significant other, you have to not take offense to that or get when you're talking about something like performance anxiety, it's not, you can't take it as a rib. It's I need reassurance is what it is. And you have to talk about it, and you have to, just like after the third time it happened with you. That was a pretty intense conversation we had on the way home about me not jumping in there to help you. And it needed to be an intense conversation. Mm-hmm. If we had not had that conversation, I think that what was happening would have continued, and it would end up again ending the swinging at some point in time for us. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to talk about it. You have to be able to, you have to be able to listen. We've cracked jokes with each other about stuff like that, but we also know when. I mean, you have always been awesome about knowing when to crack a joke and when not to, and to talk honestly. In fact, you were the one that suggested to me to go. You were the one that found the acupuncturist. Mm-hmm. I mean, you researched it and found that acupuncture. You found a couple other things as well. I'm trying to think now what else you'd found. Some other type of meditation things that would also possibly work. You remember? I mean, I'm trying to think now.
Oh, what was it? I don't remember.
But I mean, you did a lot of research. You took the ball and you took the ball in the hand. Yeah. You took control, and where my ego and a lot of guys' egos were going to get in the way. My ego was going to get in the way, and I was more willing to just say, you just play without me. I'll never play again. You went out and you did research and found some options,
because there's a bunch of different things that can for solutions. Yeah and I credit our communication, our ability to be able to have that conversation, to have the tears after the fourth, fifth, the sixth, seventh time that it happened, and be able to communicate. And I wasn't able to say anything to make it better, but I hugged you all the way home on the 3-hour drive home to the communication. When you said, no, you're not just going to accept it. There's solutions. Here's an option. Here's some options. So, performance anxiety, don't let performance anxiety be the thing that ends your swinging, whether it be if you're a guy and you can't get it up or you have issues, or if you're a gal that is running into a streak of guys that are having issues with it. Communicate with each other. Take and talk with each other. Support each other on it, and work together as a relationship to make it better. And I think that you'll enhance your swinging experience. Mm-hmm. Very much so.
So, guys, really want to thank everybody for tuning into the special episode. We enjoyed doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed this show as well. We hope in the future we'll do some more things like this on topics that we think are kind of big in the lifestyle all the way through. And yeah, so Want to just take this opportunity to make sure that you can follow us on Facebook at The Crazy Truth. You can also follow us on Instagram at crazy dot crazy. Also, I forgot where my Instagram is. You can follow us on Instagram at crazy.casba.
Or is it underscore?
It's underscore crazy_Casba. Twitter at truth crazy. Did that one wrong. And also you can support our Patreon as well if you like what we're doing. www.patreon.com/crazy KRAZY Casba, KASBH. And we also want to give a shout out again to our sponsors for tonight's show. That would be swingtowns.com. Make sure you register today for free. That's www.swingtowns.com. And make sure that you let them know that you're referred by The Crazy Truth. So for tonight, doing it the only way I know how and the only way I want to, Casba style, out.
Bye.